Hello everyone, thanks for being there today. So I'm Aurelie Baker from AeroSpace Valley. AeroSpace Valley, it's a French cluster in aerospace sector. Today I'm happy to introduce this webinar. We are doing this webinar in frame of the Astropreneur program. So first of all, Carla from IPN, the coordinator of Astropreneur, will give you more information about this very great program. And after that, Aude, just here, will give you more information about the ESA BIC program. So Carla, it's your.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Nice to be here again with you and have this opportunity to introduce a little bit more of Astropreneurs to you. Well, the slides just disappeared. Here they are again. Okay, so let's start with explaining and telling you about a little bit more about Astropreneurs. So we are an H2010 project, as you know. We are just in the more than the middle of the project, when we are turning space-related ideas into viable business, promoting opportunities for entrepreneurs, not only the ones from space, but also from non-space sectors. As we know, we are a partnership. Here we at IPN in Portugal, we are coordinated and probably coordinators of this incredible partnership, 8 organizations across Europe. AeroSpace Valley, Brimatech in Austria, CESA in Germany, Czech Invest in the Czech Republic, KIM in Spain, the STFC in the UK, and Verhart in Belgium. So 8 partners that are all related with the space sector, being either as a BICs, as a brokers, or ambassadors platform. We also, what are we doing here in Astropreneurs? So we are picking up entrepreneurs, the startups, these SMEs that aim to have a business including a space technology, and we are mentoring them on business, on tech, and on funding, and also giving them access to a very large network that hopefully will turn their businesses more viable and speed up their entrance in commercial phases. We will have on board 150 startups, and we will give them an average of 50 hours of mentoring, as I said, on business, on technical, or on funding needs. And this will support them through the process of developing their business that uses a space tech. And also, of course, the network, the access to contacts of organizations, to the mentors, to the other incubators, and we will reach more than 500 persons within this network. The mentoring program, how does it work? Well, we started initially by thinking that 3 months would be enough, but now we come out with the decision to extend a little bit more the mentoring, and so the mentoring program can go until up to 6 months, and each startup accepted will get the 50 hours of mentoring. In the end, we will have 150 startups, more than 500 entrepreneurs, and more than 100 mentors and experts involved in this program. So, how do we organize and how can people apply to be mentored, to participate in Astropreneurs Space Startup Accelerator? We have a lot of cutoff dates. Most of them are gone. The next one will be in the beginning of next year, in the 6th of February. The 5 initial cutoff dates have already passed, but there is a possibility of having one more besides the one in February. And if that happens, you can go and see in our website in astropreneurs.eu, and you will always all the information about the cutoff dates in the process. So if you go to the website, our website, and if you click on the mentoring, this is the screen that you will see. You can find a document very important if you want to apply in the more information. It's important because it describes all, it gives you all the guidance to explain the eligibility criteria, the assessment criteria, how are you supposed to organize yourselves to apply. You can join also and get to the application form by clicking on apply on F6S. F6S is the platform that we use, and then we can check our mentors and the startups that are already with us. This is just a flavor of the mentors that are on board. We have the initial KPI of getting 100 mentors, but actually we already get much more than 100, more than 120 mentors from all over Europe, which is really very enriching, and they are very skilled, and they are waiting for your needs to mentor you. Also, you can see the startups that are already on board. Sorry. We have lots of startups already on the acceleration program, more than 100 actually. So the seats available are running out, and you have to be fast and really apply to the next cutoff date in February. The application process is really easy. You click on that button on the website, you go to the F6S. The application form is very smooth. It's not time consuming. You don't get much time spent on preparation. You just read the notes and guidance, and you understand very easily what you are supposed to ask to answer in the application form. Applicants can be startups, and for this we mean either entrepreneurs, single persons or teams with an idea in idea phase, or even or also a registered SME. You have to be located in a EU member state or in a H20 eligible country, and you have to have, that is mandatory, a space-related business idea. You have to have the idea of what space technology or what satellite data you need to incorporate in your business. And what I strongly advise you is that you really need the notes and guidance for applicants that will explain everything that you need to know about the application process. What do we assess? So we have a scoring for what's your business idea, what is the space connection, why do you want to be an Astropreneur, and how will you use the Astropreneur support. Every single question of these are described in terms of what you need to answer, even in the form. In the form we explain what this means, and also on that document that I'm telling you about. And to be accepted, we have to meet all the eligibility criteria and score more than 60 points out of the total of 100 possible. It's not difficult to score this. If you get a little time on thinking about this will be very smooth and easy process of application. And now, after 5 cutoff dates, as I told you, we have 121 mentors on board and 103 Astropreneurs, startups all over across Europe that are with us getting the mentoring. They are coming from 15 countries across Europe. France and Portugal are doing great on involving startups, but as you can check, from all over the Europe, from 15 countries across Europe, we are doing really great and having startups. The mentoring is mostly online, so we can have on board startups from everywhere and putting them in touch with mentorings from anywhere across Europe. We have 47 places available. You have still time to join, so you can apply. And not only the mentoring is important, but also some networking work that we are developing. So for one side, we are mapping the events and the funding that are very interesting for space startups or startups that are from non-space sector that want to use space tech or satellite information or navigation. So, and we have these two maps available on our website. And also, especially for funding, we are mapping funding across Europe with several categories of possible fundings that you can get. So grants, you can have business angels, you can apply to calls, you can apply to tenders, to crowdfunding, and everything is mapped. And along with the mapping, you get detailed info about some of the each of the funding that is available and map it. So for instance, you can understand when a competition is going on, who is running, where is the contact, and all of this you can access on our website. So what we have now, we cover 20 European countries, we have 25 business angels, 58 venture capital, 63 grant schemes, many acceleration programs, clusters and funding agencies, and also events related with fundraising and competitions that are available on this map. And mentors actively spot the most adequate national, European or international funding opportunities according to the needs that the startups are assessed in the beginning. So you can have, according to your needs, you can be directed to funding instruments, either private or public, to acceleration programs, to competitions, or other suitable instruments that are available. And actually, this work is giving results. We have requested more than 1,200,500 euros. So lots of money that has been requesting for this kind of and different funding schemes. And since we are talking about the ESA BICs, we can say to you that, and Aude probably will explain this in detail, there are many business incubation centers related to ESA across Europe, 20 business incubation centers, and our Astropreneurs applied, 5 of them applied, and each of them received a grant of 50K to prototype and get IP protection. So a huge amount of money has already been raised and awarded to the Astropreneurs, and they are getting money for this kind of money from the ESA BICs. So it's a great opportunity if you are joining the space economy to apply for an ESA BIC. Of course, we have also these training opportunities, and these are not only for the startups and that are participating in the program. These training opportunities are free and available for anyone interested in learning a little bit more about the space sector, the space economy, how to get funding, how to pitch, lots of opportunities to get simple and easy information and access to this kind of subjects that are very important for the startups. Just to remind you that all this information are recorded, and we have a YouTube page where you can hear and hear again and check what we have been doing, what we are doing, and some videos, some extra videos from our activities that you can check. Along with YouTube, you can follow us on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and of course you can always email us. There will be someone here to reply to your inquiry. And that's it. I will be available for any question after the presentations. You can then write them in the chat box, in the chat box, and we will reply and try to come out with the information that you need. So thank you for attending, and now Aude will continue with the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carla.
Thank you, Carla, for introducing. So now we will make. J'ai pas la main pour passer. Sorry. 1 second. Okay. Now it's good. So now I will present you the ESA BIC program, which is something that can help the funding, but not only funding of a company. 1 minute just for presenting myself. As already told at the beginning, I'm Aude Ndong. I'm working in AeroSpace Valley, which is a French cluster focusing on aeronautic and space. And I was a former ESA BIC Sud France manager during 5 years. So I know a little bit on this topic, and I will try to give you all the information. The first, okay. The first step, the first slide is about acronym, because I'm not sure that everybody knows about ESA BIC and the beautiful logos on the upside of this slide. So ESA BIC means European Space Agency Business Incubation Center. Some people also told Business Innovation Center, because it is supporting young companies with innovative projects. And you can see the beautiful logo on the right. And these ESA BICs, are part of a huge network, which name is Business Application and Space Solution Network, with a little name base. And this is the double logo you see on the right, with ESA Space Solution and Business Application. So you will understand a little bit after what there is inside. So why such a network? This network has for objective to support companies on the different steps of their life. If you see on the upper side of this figure, you can see the product development. So you know, of course, that at the beginning, there is only an idea. After, there is some tests for feasibility, the first proof of concept, finding the first user, and after make all the development, demonstration, and when you have your first customers, you want more. So you have to grow your company, to go maybe to Europe and even world. So this is the product development. And in front of this product development, there is a company development and the support you can have from the base network. So the first step is about incubation. After, when you have your first customer or your first proof of concept, you can go and you have to accelerate your business, and you also need some finance, so which is the third step. Indeed, we know that finance should be all over the life, but we need to put it somewhere in this in this figure. So the aim of this base network is to support entrepreneurs on each stage of the development of the product and of the company. It is, of course, about for companies that are using satellite application and technology, because as you see, it's about ESA and space solution. So the part of ESA BIC, the aim is to support, as I said, business development of young space-related startups. And each word is really important if in this sentence. The young means that the company needs to be less than 5 years, and this is really it's really a needed a mandatory point. If the company is not created, the founder can apply, but the company needs to be created at the moment of you will sign the contract with ESA. So even if you have not created yet, you can apply to the program. Space related is quite a strange word. There is a lot of things behind this word. So space related means that you need to have a link with space, Usually we have three main axes. The first one is the technology transfer. So meaning that you are using technology that are coming from the space sector. So for example, you can have a patent from ESA or from other player, space player, which can be a company, a huge company. And you want to use this technology in another economic sector, another economic field. And this made you eligible for applying to ESA BIC. A second possibility is to be in the field of space application. That means that you are using data coming from space. This can be every data coming from space. So it is about GNSS, of course about Galileo, but also all the Earth observation data coming from Copernicus, for example, but also another satellite. Whatever you are doing, if the data are coming from space, it make you also eligible to apply to an ESA BIC. And you can use this data to make product or service. It's we don't really care about if it's a product or a service, as if there is some data from space. And the last possibility is if you want to go to the space market, which is a huge new space world. It is you have an idea or a product to transfer existing technology to put them in the space sector, and so to make something new in this space sector. Of course, we are thinking about CubeSat and nanosatellite, but can be other thing in this market. So it is really space related. You have something of space in your product, in your service, and meaning that you are eligible to apply to an ESA BIC. The other question is, where can you be supported? It is a European program, of course, but European is quite huge. We have a lot of places in Europe to apply and to be hosted. You need to have a European company. On the long list that you see on the left of the slide, all the blue countries have an ESA BIC inside. Here is a map. You can see there is a lot of dots. The blue dots are the different location of the ESA BICs. And you can see that in some countries, for example, in Portugal, there is 3 dots for one ESA BIC, because some ESA BICs have different location for the same program. You need to have so a European company and to go near, to contact the BICs that you are interested in regarding the country where you are or where you want to go. There is no question about the nationality of the funder. It is about the nationality of the company. Where is it created? So the last question that can be asked is, are we focusing on one market or not? As you see on this slide, there is a lot of little pictures with cars and agriculture and a lot of things. So obviously the answer is no. All the markets are eligible. There is only one exception, which is the military sector, because we do not want to support all the military creation of weapons or things like this, of course. But for all the other markets, there is no problem. So you can see a list on this slide, but there is a lot of other markets that are not on this list that can be, of course, in the field of an ESA BIC. For example, I have put some photos of different products of companies. You can see that there is some that are using on the market of agriculture. Some of them are about technology transfer, other on Earth observation. There is also some products that are more for the leisure. As you see, there is something for diving, or maybe you can see on the smartphone, it is something about the surf. There is also some use of data from meteorology for cities or for agriculture, and also on Earth. We can have a lot of things really different. If you look on the last one on the right, it is products that have been developed for the nuclear market. So it is really something really far from space, but there is some technology transfer inside. So the main important point is that space is useful everywhere, and you can have some space in your product. If you have some space in your product or in your service, that means that you are eligible for coming in an ESA BIC. So here is a short resume of what I've said, and here are all the eligibility that you have to check before to come. So if you want to come, you can ask, but why? So here is a big program. As you see, there is different support. The aim is really to support the entrepreneur on the different side of his company. So there is, of course, a support and advices and business development support. So to help to validate all the hypotheses and to explain how strategy and business model are working. There is also something that is something really different from other incubators or accelerators, is the support from ESA or local expertise of space center, because you can have access to ESA, to some labs, to local experts, in order to help you to bypass some technical problems that you can have. There is, of course, something quite usual. It's some office space and shared facilities. The funding part, because it is one of the important points for this webinar, the funding part is of 50K of funding. Half of this 50K is coming from the ESA part, and half of this 50K is coming from local funding. So this is changing depending on the country. But anyway, there is a global 50K funding when you are in this ESA BIC program. Something that is really also interesting is that you have access to the network of startups of this ESA BIC program, of this European ESA BIC program. So you have access also to the network of this of ESA and of other space agency, which is something that can be really huge and useful, mainly depending on the markets you are focusing on. So if we have just a look, because there is always some question about this point, the ESA funding, so the half of the 50K, so 25K, you have to use it for external needs. So it is only by invoices, it's not for salaries. And it is really to be used for product and service development or intellectual property. We really want to push all these technical phases. Because if you remember well, it is quite at the beginning of the life of company, and so you have to make the development of your product. There is this 25K are not given at the beginning. It is given as 3 parts, as you see in this slide. So there is 10K at the beginning, 10K at the midterm, when you are sure with your ESA BIC manager that you have done a lot of things, and at the end there is the last 5K at the final term report. For the local counterpart of 25K, it depends to the local law and implementation. So it's you have to check it with the ESA BIC manager when you plan to apply. So another important point to why to go in an ESA BIC is to be part of a network, as I said. And in order to explain a little bit more that, there is this little animation. So as you see, business incubation, there is 20 ESA BICs in Europe, so it's already a network, 60 locations and more than 180 startups per year. So this is the first network, the network of the business incubation. But there is also additional network, which is the innovation partner network. It is really close in the ESA base. There is some people inside that are more on the business application side for Copernicus, but also the project that are in the SME initiative, which are also a European program. There is the broker. Brokers are people that are really knowing really well all the patterns coming from ESA and its partners, and so they can help on going to this to find the good patents or good license. And they are also managing sometimes of demonstrator projects that you can have access. There is also the patents that are linked to the broker, and a part about investment support that are now growing, and it's going to be more and more developed in the future. And if you want to have really all the big, huge network, there is a lot of partnerships with different other networks, so some from association, but also, for example, there is IBAN, which is European Network of Business Angels, so that have some implication in the different local countries. There is some network mentoring. So there is really a lot of people that you can have access, and this is probably a difference that you are, by entering in a local ESA BIC, you can have access to a European network. Okay, and also I would like to say that maybe one important thing also is to be part of our history. If we are looking a little bit on the last years, here is locations, the different location of ESA BICs. It is quite a young program, something like a little bit at more 10 years, and it's growing exponentially. There is a lot now, much more 3 to 4 new ESA BICs per year, and now we are 60 locations, and I think 4 years ago there was only 30 locations, so it's really something that is growing more and more, meaning there is more and more companies and more also funding to fund these companies. So here is a map, and on the right side of the map you have also all the key data showing that there is funding for all the companies. There is funding for projects in addition of these BICs. There is some data about the jobs created, and so you see the fundings are separated in direct funding, which is what I've told about, this 50K and additional local support, but also external funding, meaning the support we can have given to go to raise external and private fund. I'm coming back. So here are some data. I think you will be able to look at this maybe afterwards, because there is a lot of data, but it looks interesting. So there is about 180 new startups per year in this ESA BIC network, and with a quite good survival rate, more than 80%. And globally, there is an average satisfaction, which is not so bad, because it's 8.6 on 10, so it's quite good. Of course, ESA is supporting these BICs because we need to push the economic and local development. So meaning that we want to have some more jobs created, and here also you can see that there is quite a lot of jobs created still in 2017. There is a lot of key data. You can have a look on the investment. It's of course it's average, but meaning that this network is able to push and to find to support companies that are inside. And I think the last one is also on the second part, which is the ESA business application part. So it's not directly ESA BIC, but as I show you, it's something that you can have access easily if you are in an ESA BIC, because we know each other with the one that are managing also this program. And this program is also giving some money to projects, maybe a little bit more in the funnel, which for acceleration. And you see that there is also a lot of funding in this program that is available when you have already begin and you have your project. So it's like a little bit the next step after incubation, and we can generally also support you to go to this second step. So, of course, if you want to apply, you have to detect how to do. The first step to do is to choose your location. Generally, it's easy. It's where you are living, or the sooner the not so far where you are living. There is an application form which is exactly the same for all the different ESA BICs, but it's better if you can contact before your ESA BIC manager, because it's always great to know about the local specification. The application form is the same for everybody. There is a cover letter which is quite easy. It's mainly about to test the compliance with the ESA rules, and to be sure that you have well understood and read the contract and things like this. The main part of the application part is a business plan. So it's really based on the business Canva. So there is a different part, and you have to fill in everything. Even if you don't really know about each part, you can try. We know that companies and founders that are quite young, they cannot answer on everything, but it's like a good job to do, to try to answer to everything. And of course, the third part is the incubation proposal. It's much more to see what you are doing in the year of the support of the ESA BIC. So there is like a Gantt and some more packages to explain how you feel that you will be able to reach the success in the next step. When you have finished this, you send this to the ESA BIC manager, and afterwards there is a pitch in front of a selection committee with ESA, the ESA BIC manager, and other people, a little bit depending on your country, the different structures that are financing this local program. What I want to say is that the Astropreneur program, we try also to help you if you are inside, and if you plan to go to ESA BIC, you have to tell this to your mentor or your manager, because we can help you also to fill in this application form. If you have questions, it is something that we can also do. And I think it was the last slide. Thank you for being there. And so your time.
Going back. Thank you, Aude. Thank you, Carla. So now is the question time. So if you have any question, please do it on the chat. In the meantime, I have a question from both of you. Do you think it's easier to apply to the ESA BIC program if we did Astropreneur before?
So I'm answering. Yeah. So I think yes, I think it's easier because you will be voted for filling the application form. Because program Astropreneurs, there is a lot of ESA BIC manager inside, or people that are in the ESA BIC network. So we know about this, and we know how to fill in the application the best way.
Also, yeah, we can support you on preparing you to the pitch. It's very important to prepare the pitch because you can, well, that's a major thing that will decide also. You have to have a good proposal, but your pitch is also very important, and you can train and get feedback. And I think that is also very supportive and important to apply to the ESA BIC.
Okay, so we have a question about restriction, and the question is, can you apply if you still have a full-time job? What are the restrictions? So I think we can have an answer for the ESA BIC and an answer for the Astropreneur part. I don't think it's the same answer.
Yes, for the Astropreneur, I think that you can apply even if you have a full-time, because it's a less important support, if you can say. For ESA BIC, of course you can apply, but it's something that, you know, if you want really to have to run a full company, an innovative company, that means that you need to have time on this development of product or service. So I would say that you can apply, but at the moment you will say, if we say yes, you will have to be in this company and to work in this at a full-time job in your company at the moment of we will have signed the contract. At least it is like this that we are doing in France, and maybe Carla can add a word for Portugal. But
No, it's the same. You can be. The important is not your job situation or employment situation. Is if you will establish a company, if you get a contract from the ESA BIC, then you have to be participating in that company. Your employment situation previous to that, it doesn't matter. And also for Astropreneurs, it doesn't matter. You can be employed, you can have a company already, so you can be in either situation.
But you need to have time to run your company.
Yes, if you get the ESA BIC funding, then yes, you have to fully be engaged, and you have to organize yourself and be fully engaged in your startup. That's for sure.
So now we have another question about the evaluation. How are evaluators selected? Are there only technical experts or just institutional?
So maybe I will answer for ESA BIC. You can do for the Astropreneur, because there is the two part. So for the ESA BIC, there is in the jury, there is mainly institutional, but some of these institutional are also technical, and so they know about the technical part of the of space. So what I would like to say is that there is an important point, which is the analysis of the business part and not the technical part. So this is really something important. So we know we have people inside from ESA. In France, we have the French Space Agency, we have the ESA BIC. We have the local funder also. And so all these people, they have their own knowledge and skills. Some are more focused on the business, others on the technical. And we can have also some people that are here to help us to have a good analysis. So if we have any questions on the expert side of the technical side, for example, we can ask questions to expert people that can really help us to understand if it is maybe really innovative or if it is really feasible or things like this.
Well, for Astropreneurs, the process is really similar. We have a board of persons that belong to the partnership, and they are very skilled on the business side, but also on the technical side, and so they have the right skills to evaluate the applications. And if it is needed, we also can have experts on board to support our decision. So it is a mix of technical and business competence that persons have to evaluate the applications.
Okay, and another question, it's can we apply as a solo founder, or it's important to have co-founders? Do you have a smaller chance to be in if we are alone?
No, it's you can apply if you are solo. Of course, it's not the best way to run a company to be alone, but we know that we need to begin by something. So you can begin as a solo founder. What is important to show is that you are not really alone, meaning you have already some people that can support you, or if you have already maybe have some money or some partnership, or I don't know, so that you show that even if you are the only people in your company, you are connected to other people outside. But it's not a problem. You can apply as a solo founder. I don't think that it is reducing your chance, because depends also on your skills and depends on the support that you can have also outside.
Yes, the same for Astropreneurs. You can apply being a solo person. Of course, we will evaluate if you are a solo, that you will get the necessary complementarity of persons or consultancy or partners, or you plan to expand your team to complement what you are planning to do. But for applying, you can be solo.
Yeah. I have a question about prototype. Is that a requirement to have a prototype to apply or not?
No, you can apply even if you don't have your prototype. It's completely possible. It's better not to have only slides, not because we don't really like to say it's only an idea. So what you have to show is that it's not only an idea that you have got 2 weeks ago, but even if your prototype is not done, you can have some first step of the product or the service, but it's not absolutely necessary.
Also for Astropreneurs, it couldn't be mandatory to have a prototype.
And we have a question about spin-out. Is a spin-out can apply?
Yeah, spin-out can apply, even if you have to be careful about the capital sharing of your company, because there is you have to be an independent company. So meaning that if the first company have more than 50% of your company, it can be a problem, because that means that you are not really a really young company. That means you are like more a part of the first company. So it's possible to have to be a spin out, but you have to be independent.
For Astropreneurs, you have no limitation. You can be a spin-out from an existing company, and there's no problem, because what we want really is to create new businesses, either if they are generating within a company or from someone solo or a team or an existing startup. So we can accept.
Another question is about your business idea. For example, if your business fit with multiple sectors like agriculture, environmental, security, and so on, just the technology you're using, can you is ESA BIC and Astropreneur can help to determine which sector should we focus on, or what are the more prospective business? So
yes, I think it's part of the mentoring of Astropreneur and also of the support that can be done in an ESA BIC, because we are there to help you focus. I think to focus on the product and the service and on the market that you are doing. So at the end, you will have to find the best business place for your product, because we will not choose for you, but we are able to give you some inputs in order for you to define the best market that you have to go.
Absolutely. As Aude said, usually the entrepreneurs come to us and they think that, and actually the technology can have multiple applications. They can be used in several sectors, and the mentor will support to determine or to find the best market fit, what will be the best way to start, because you cannot go for everything. You have to choose and choose well, and the mentoring can be really helpful for that.
Yeah.
Now we have a question about the mentoring for Astropreneur. How long is the Astropreneur program support a project?
Well, for now, the last call will be, the last cutoff date will be in February, and for now, all the mentoring has to be concluded until the end of June of 2020. There is a perspective of an extension of the project, but for now, what we have to say is that the last cutoff date will be on February, and all the mentoring will have to end until the end of June 2020. If something will change in between, we will announce it in our website and social media.
And we have a question about, is it possible to apply to an ESA BIC if we are living in another place?
That means that I think you will need to move to the other place, because it will be difficult. For example, for us, we need to have a company that is located at least in the country that is of the ESA BIC, because, for example, the ESA BIC France will not support an Italian company. It's not possible. However, if you are an Italian guy and you say that you will locate your company in France, so meaning that you being eligible, because it is a company that's in France, and even if the founder is Italian, anyway, it's not a problem. So really the important point is this, that you have to be where is the ESA BIC, or close to the ESA BIC.
Nothing to add now.
No.
I think we don't have any more questions.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
So
much for being there to the webinar, to listen to us, and thank you, Carla. Thank you, Aude. And I think after that we will send you a survey. So please take a few minutes to fill in it. And I think this webinar will be yes, slide will be available. We will send you with the presentation. So thank you very much. And if you have any question after that, please contact us. Great. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.